Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about a band that has been making music for over 30 years. If this is your very first time to listen to this podcast, well, we talk about one band on this show, and the one band that we talk about is a band that's being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this October. And it's the Dave Matthews Band. Yes, let's clap for that. You guys, I'm so excited. It's like my team has won the Super Bowl and like we're getting a trophy and like I'm the proud mom, like probably with tears down my face.
So hard for it. I like voted every day. It paid off. Yes, I feel it.
I mean, it's just it's like Christmas is coming and it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But guys, yeah, we're going to talk about the Dave Matthews Band, and if you don't know much about them, that's cool. That's cool too, because we love to teach about the Dave Matthews Band. So every episode I have a fan on to tell their journey with when they met this band, how did they first hear about them? And the cool thing about this is since the Dave Matthews Band has been playing for so many years, people of all ages have found this band. People that found the band in 1991 when they first started, people in the 2000s, the 2010s. I have friends who are a little older than me. I'm 40. I'm about to turn 45. I have friends in their 60s who just found the Dave Matthews Band 2 and 3 years ago. So it's a band that really can reach the generations. And yeah, I'm going to say it just like that because they can, and they will. And so every episode, I bring a fan on to tell their journey because everybody's journey is different. And so today is just like every episode. I have a friend on that loves the Dave Matthews Band. So I'm going to let her introduce who you are and where in the world do you live, and like tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you like to do outside of the Dave Matthews Band?
Yeah, so my name's Jaimee Hamm, and I live in Marlboro, New Jersey. And right now I am opening a cannabis dispensary in Jersey City, Hamm and Chaz Cannabis Dispensary. I'm going to plug that while I can.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah, we are in the construction phase. It's been a very long journey. Almost 2.5 years we've been working on it. So that's been my primary focus while I'm not listening to Dave Matthews or going to see Dave Matthews or talking about Dave Matthews. I am trying to get this going in the wonderful state of New Jersey, in the city of Jersey City, which is pretty close to MSG. If anybody plans on coming in, hopefully November, maybe we'll be
fingers crossed. Yeah,
fingers crossed. Yeah, Hamm and Chaz. Yes.
Well, I want to talk about that just a little bit because if you've never listened to this podcast, I am a nurse that could not be a bigger advocate for THC. I love it. I understand it. Mm-hmm. I'm educated about it, and I see it saving lives every day. So like I'm going to talk about it with you because that excites me. Yeah. I didn't know this about you. And so tell me like how did you get here in life what you're trying to do?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I've had different businesses for most of my adult life. I've been in sales. I've been a consultant. Most recently, I was an energy broker for over a decade.
Wow.
I've always been a cannabis advocate. I've always been a self-medicator since I was a teenager. I've found that I always run on a very high level, and no pun intended.
Right.
Cannabis keeps me level. I tend to be a little more high energy than most, and cannabis keeps me a little more sane and easier to be around other people. And I've always been a big fan of it. My parents were hippies. They were always a big fan of it. I grew up with
Yeah.
it in the house. And so when Jersey legalized, I was part of it immediately.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to be a part of it in some way. And at the time, I used my energy license as an energy broker to get in with the growers in the state. So I was working with Terracin and Justice and some of the bigger MSOs when they first got their grows open. I was helping them manage their energy. Um, Through that, I started helping other cultivators that wanted to get their license. I partnered with an application writer that was writing applications to get licenses in Jersey and get that going. And then through that, I met someone that had a big retail background and wanted to open a dispensary. And I said, you know what? I'm connected to all the right people and I'm so passionate about it. And I just felt like my whole life I've always been selling things and building things and helping businesses grow. And you know what? Let's do this for something that I love. And, you know,
Yes.
let's sell some weed legally in New Jersey. How
Hell
amazing is
yeah.
that? And
Let's help
so
some people, right? Let's help some people.
let's get this done in an area where there's a lot of fentanyl and a lot of
Hmm.
illegal sales on the street. We were able to get a special license for a low income economic development area where we can really do that, and that's been our focus. So it's been great, and hopefully we'll be open soon.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. I mean, I want to be like your biggest fan. If any way I can help you, like I'm going to throw your name out everywhere because I know there's a lot of Dave Matthews Band fans up in the Northeast. And so, hey,
yeah.
and you're close to MSG. So again, if that happens, if I get to go, you're a side trip, 100% happening. So
Well,
just be
yeah, so
prepared.
our focus is really helping the independent growers.
Oh yeah.
Those are the connections that I have. Those are the people that I've been working with for the last few years in the state. Those are the people I want to see succeed.
Yes.
You know, we don't really want the multi-state operators taking over the state and
Right.
selling the same product. We want some unique products, some craft product. You know, I'm a weed snob. I want to have,
Yeah, the
high
best.
quality bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I want to have educated people in my store that understand what each, you know, different product does and the different strains. And
Yeah.
so it's really going to be exciting, and watching the industry grow here in the state has been really exciting, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's crazy, like if you're listening to this and you don't know a lot about weed, that's cool. You don't have to be for it, against it, whatever. You just have to be open to listening to people say, "Hey, it's working for me." And then that's how this
Hmm.
works, right? But like you were kind of saying how weed kind of helps bring you down. Did you know that
Yeah,
weed does the complete opposite for me? It makes me get out of bed. It makes me want to live. Like it brings me up. So it's so weird. Like
yeah,
there's not a one thing that we can do. It's very individidividualized. It's different for every
it is.
person, and it's all about the strains. And not, I mean, there's so much
Yeah.
science. So I
Hmm.
encourage people to dig into it. And if you don't know much about it, educate yourself about it. There's so much free education out there about it. And it has to start hitting people when you think, okay, there really is something more than just the hippie part that we've always heard about when it came to marijuana. Like doctors are prescribing this for so many things. For the
Oh yeah.
elderly who have lost their appetite, guess what they're prescribing them? Baby, it makes you hungry. So there's so many
Hmm.
beneficial parts of marijuana. So definitely read up on it. I could go on and on. Again, big advocate.
Me
So
too.
I love that you're on
Yes.
this show. I'm excited that we're going to dig
Yes.
into the Dave Matthews Band together. So what
Yes.
how in the world and when in the world did you find the music
Yep.
of the Dave Matthews Band?
So I grew up in New York City. I grew up in Staten Island, and Dave Matthews was not a thing.
Yeah.
Um, we did not, nobody really listened to it. I had never even really heard about it. I graduated, I went away to college. I went to Oswego State University, which is in central New York. And I walked in day one. I met a guy at orientation and we hit it off. And I invited him back to my dorm room to get high. And he came in and he's looking at my CD collection and he's like, "Oh, Pink Floyd, awesome. The Who, awesome. You know, Beatles,
Yeah.
awesome. Green Day, great. Alanis. Where where's Dave? And I'm like, who? And he's like, where's the Dave? And I'm like, I don't I don't know what you're talking about.
Who is the Dave?
Oh no. um, and so he introduced me to Dave, and we dated for about 2 years. And he took me to my first Dave show, my first few Dave shows. And even after we broke up, we continued to meet up for Dave shows
Yeah,
in my early 20s. And it was just part of the culture where I went to college. Everybody was a Dave fan. By the time I was
sure.
done with my freshman year, if you weren't a Dave fan, it was weird.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was just kind of an awakening when I got to an upstate, New York area where it was so prevalent.
Right, right.
And just started going to shows every summer. And then after college, I moved in with my roommate. Her name was also Jaimee Sousa. And her and I were just huge, huge Dave fans. And pretty much all we did was travel around going to see Dave. Um, One of the coolest places we went was Amsterdam. That's the shirt that I'm rocking.
That's I can't
So
imagine. I want to.
yeah,
I want to, but I
yeah.
can't.
Yeah, we just decided, again, big cannabis fans, and at the time it wasn't really legal anywhere
Yeah,
here, and you had
right,
to go there to have that experience. And so
right.
we said, hey, let's go have that experience and see Dave and Tim. I mean, you can't
Sounds like a
really beat
dream.
that. Yeah,
No.
and so we went, we traveled, we had an amazing trip. We went to the show. The show was at Paradiso, um, and what an experience! Just totally different experience than any other concert I had ever been to in my life up until that point. It was such a
Yeah.
tiny, tiny venue. Um, I don't know how many people it was in there, but it just felt like a few hundred. Um,
Wow.
Dave and Tim were on the stage with candlelight, and it was just
Mhm.
beautiful. And my friend and I were sitting on the steps of the stage. I mean, we were like on the stage basically, like we
That's
were just there, and
insane.
it was just, and they played like all night. I mean, I felt like it went on until 1 in the morning. Like I felt like it just kept going, and there was just so much weed around and being passed around, and things on the stage and off the stage and around, and it was just what an experience. And
Wow.
yeah, that was kind of one of those bucket list life changing
For
moments.
sure. For sure.
Um,
Well, I
and
mean,
then
I hate to stop you here, but I gotta dig
yeah,
in. You've given me so much
yeah,
information, and I'm like, wait, 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 wait,
yeah,
wait. I didn't even get to the
yeah,
story.
yeah,
So I want to see if you can remember, like, when what turned into your boyfriend told you and was like, "Hey, you don't have any Dave," and like
yeah.
he explains, "Okay, it's the Dave Matthews Band." The first time you hear it, can you remember? It's okay if you can't remember what song, because maybe you can, but like, what was it about the music that was like, okay, cool. Like I could get into this. Like, do you remember?
Yeah, I want to say the very first thing I listened to was the Live at Luther College CD.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it was in my boyfriend's car, and we were driving around and we were smoking, and I want to say it was the Tim solo, like was one
Uh-huh.
of the first. I was like, it just caught me, and I was
Right.
like, what? Wow. And I got really into Tim, and the sound of Dave and Tim together was
Yeah.
something I had just never heard, and it gave me goosebumps. I get goosebumps right now, and I just felt like I could feel it. I felt like
Yeah.
I could feel them, and that whole CD is like one of those things that it's embedded into me.
True.
Um, where whenever I hear, I can like almost pinpoint it. If I hear it playing, I'll be like, oh, that's from that CD, like
Yeah.
I'll just,
Yeah.
because it was one of those things that was like in his disc changer on repeat all the time. So it was definitely that that CD.
Wow.
Yeah.
It grabbed you. And I love that
Hmm.
story that music can grab you. For me, it was a typical situation like that song. I remember the moment, like it took its hands around my shoulders and was like, listen to this, right? Like I remember the feeling of that song hitting me. It's such a good feeling. And it's still like goosebumps today, right? Like those feelings never left. And it doesn't sound like it
I
left for
don't
you.
think. Well, I mean, I thought it was cool and I liked it. But it wasn't until I went to my first concert and I saw it live.
Yeah, that changes it.
Two step changed it for me.
Yeah. What was it about it?
That two step, I don't know. It was just, I think the build up in the
Oh,
beginning,
yeah.
and I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't anything like the intros we get now because this is 1999, and
Right.
the intro now, the time bomb intro is just by far the best intro in my opinion ever
Yes.
in
Yes.
existence. But I think it was like just the build up, and
Mhm.
when it hit and the whole crowd like erupted. I mean, we were in Giant Stadium, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
just and I didn't really get it until then. And
Yeah.
everyone around me was just, it was just amazing, and I could feel everyone's energy, and I could feel
Right.
him, and that song has never changed for me. Like that's still my number one favorite song ever on earth. I will always forever chase it. I didn't get it this tour. I'm like back to chasing it after getting it last tour, like almost every show.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
I was like, I don't have to chase it anymore. I cried. I was so happy, but now I feel like I'm back to, I
yeah.
need
You
to
want to
hear
hear
two
it.
step again.
You want to keep
Yes.
hearing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And
I
he
feel
still
that
hasn't
way.
played it. He still hasn't played it only once
It's
this whole
like they
tour.
know. It's like they know. And so many, it's
George
so
is going to
funny.
get it.
I mean, maybe. I think that it's a game now. I think we're playing games that we don't even know
I
that
mean,
we're players
clearly
in.
The PMP game, obviously this year.
I
Um,
love it though. Like I love what they do to us. I hear people say, the band likes fucking with us. Hell yeah, keep fucking with
yes,
me. Also,
yes.
they go, like Dave's a troll. Dave's a troll. Like he likes to do this to you. And I'm like, keep trolling me, baby. Like I love it. I love this. But also there's like that, well, when's it coming back? But that's that hook, right? Like you just
Yep,
said it. You're
keeps
like,
me
it's gonna
coming.
be at the gorge. It's gonna be
Yep,
at this. It's gonna be at that.
yep.
Because like we just keep waiting for it. We don't give up. People do not give up on their songs. Like when they're chasing songs, like you'll see, I will never forget. I don't even know where I was. I think I was at Deer Creek, whatever year, and there was a dude in the pit behind me. And I swear, in between every song, and even before the show, after the show, I felt like all the time he would just yell out, Angel, Angel. Like people don't give up on that shit. Like all those songs that are never hardly played, like Crazy Easy, like just like those songs that we
Yep.
know are out there and we know are so good, but like we're probably never gonna hear it. Come on, boys, bring it back.
Yes,
Bring it back,
yes,
right? Like she
yes.
needs a two step. I need a Crazy Easy. I'm gonna say it every episode until it happens. And then when it happens, thank you.
I feel like you had said something and he played it. What was it?
Yes, it was uh, a boy's name. Oh, come on. Will. Sugar Will. It was Sugar Will. Just because I was
Sugar
thinking
Will,
about
yes.
like, what if I haven't heard? What do I like? I was like, that's so random. Like, I'm going to just say, hey, I'm going to chase Sugar Will because that's probably not going to happen. And then fuck it if it didn't just right then happen. And people came back to me and were like, oh, Renae, you nailed it. And then I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to ask for Crazy Easy because that ain't happening. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. And then maybe two steps.
I want to hear, yes, maybe. I want to hear what I really wanted, what I was hoping for was the solo Dream Girl encore
Me
into two
too.
step. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
wanted that. I like really was like trying to manifest it. Like I really, really was. I
Me
mean,
too. I was so jealous when I can't remember. Do you remember where he was when he broke out Dream Girl? Was it in Europe where he
it
did
was.
like the okay?
Yes.
And I just think that every girl
Might have
back in
been
the
London.
States fell in the floor and was like, fuck me. Like I wanted that. Like why wasn't
Yeah.
I there? And then he kind of kept on doing it for a little bit. And I think he did
Yep.
it even back in the States. Oh,
He
he
did it full
did.
band. He did it full band.
He
And then
did.
and he kind of like fumbled with it. Do you remember he like did that like
Yeah.
weird like Dave he like I don't know what he did, and then he hasn't done it since. And I'm like, no, it's
Maybe
okay.
he got in his head about it, dude. We
Yeah,
loved every second of it. Don't get in your head, Dave. We
right.
loved it.
Yes.
Do it
Yes.
again. Do it again. I even had
Do
like the
it. Oh my
dream girl
God.
glasses. I was so ready for it. I was like, because I went to the
I was,
first 4 shows of this year and I was like, he's going to do it. And then he did it on the 5th show, the one that I wasn't at. I was like,
it's the worst. That's the worst. That
you're
happened to
fucking with
me
me.
in 2022 with Two Step. In
No.
2022, he played it. I was at Homedale, and he played it like 4 shows before got it, and like every show after got it, and just
Oh,
Homedale didn't get it. And
it's
I
the
was like, "You're
worst.
kidding me!"
It's the worst. It's like you feel so
Uh,
targeted, but you know, like out of millions of people, you're not. But I feel so targeted. I'm like, just right back at him, like, fuck y'all. Come on.
it's
It's
okay.
so
They made
stupid.
it up to me. They made it up to me last
Oh,
year. I got it last year. I
good.
got it. I got it everywhere. Like I was like, really again? Wow. I was like so excited that I got it everywhere I went. It was
But
amazing.
isn't that funny? Just like, so you talk about the energy, like the energy of the fans is one thing, and then it is the energy of the band, right? And I do feel
Yeah.
like it's almost like this may sound really stupid and maybe not the best way to describe it, but like the energy in the room from like back to front, it's just like waves going back and forth, like just the fans feed it to the band and then the band throws it back out. And it's just like a total constant flow of good energy. And that's another
It's
hook of
amazing.
why we keep wanting to go back.
But I feel like that changed for a while. And
Yeah.
so like I feel like
Tell me more.
that's part of like I feel like that's part of my journey with them was like
Okay.
yeah, so I
Let's
feel
dig
like
in.
let's dig in. So I feel like,
Yes.
I started in 99 and I went all through like the early 2000s, all my 20s, every year I went and up until I got married, which is in
Yeah.
2010. I got
Okay.
married on 10-10-10.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, thank you. But I felt like, when I came back from Amsterdam, 2008, 2009, I felt like the band was a little different. They were going through things,
Sure. Yeah.
um, and I was going through things,
Yeah.
I was getting married and, I just felt like I kind of lost touch with the band and I would go to the shows and 2011, I had my first baby. 2012, 2013, I just felt like the shows didn't have the same feeling. I wasn't feeling it. They
Right.
were a little slow. I
Yeah.
wasn't loving maybe like the albums at that time where it didn't
Yeah.
have like my favorite songs on them, and so I just wasn't super into it. And
Yeah.
then, but I would still go. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to go, but like it just wasn't. Of
It
course
wasn't
I'm
the same
going
feeling.
anytime they're coming. Right, but it wasn't. I wasn't like, I don't know. And then I felt like maybe I'm just getting too old for this, and
I mean, such a change
my
of
husband.
life, right? Because you had gone from
Right,
single life to married with children, and that flow is different. It
right.
is.
And I wasn't. My husband's not a Dave fan. Womp womp.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and my best friends that I, loved going to Dave with, we no longer live near each other. My one best friend, Sarah Bengy at Newton, she lives in North Carolina. And my other best friend, Shannon Macri Lesson Gang, she lives up in Syracuse, New York. And so there's a lot of distance between us, and everybody's busy and everyone's got kids and jobs. And like, I didn't have my Dave crew to go to
Right.
the shows
Right.
with. And I felt like I was looking for people to go with all the time. And it was just, starting to get harder. And
Right.
then, it just wasn't as much of a priority. But
Right.
then, but then,
But
then
then,
COVID hit.
oh yes.
But then COVID hit. And I feel like something happened, like something changed for all of us. Like
Yeah.
something changed. I found Couch Tour on Facebook.
Hmm.
Um, and that was like
That's
life changing,
it.
literally
It was
life
a
changing. Um,
yes. Preach. Yes, it did. That's when I found it.
yes,
It
yeah,
was
it was just a life
everything.
changing time. You know, I felt like the things that Dave was doing during that time, like, was so helpful. It was so
Hmm.
therapeutic. It was
Yeah.
so much medicine.
Hmm.
Um,
Because they
and
were
to
going through it
connect
with
with people,
us.
I'm gonna like get emotional. I
That
felt like I
that's
was
okay.
connected to them in a way that, like, I don't know, everyone was so disconnected, but to have
Yeah.
that connection was like so huge. And then,
Yeah.
you know, in 2021, when they moved all the tour dates around, and we found out that the tour opener, the very first show after COVID, was going to be in Raleigh, which is where my best friend Sarah lives. It's her
Oh
hometown.
man, you had to go.
My best friend Shannon and I, we had a YOLO conversation, and we were like, we got to do it. And we literally flew in the day of the show, and we went to be there for that moment. And when I tell you, it was really funny because at the time I had no idea how many shows I had been to. I
Yeah.
wasn't keeping track.
Yeah.
I just wasn't something that I had ever really thought. I knew I'd been to a lot, but I had never
Right.
really counted.
Right.
My dad had bought me a ticket stub book when I was in my early 20s that I had tried to keep track of ticket stubs. So I had some, but I just never really thought about it. But
Right.
that day at that show, everyone's like, "Oh, how many shows have you been to? How many shows have you been?" That Dave conversation.
That whole conversation. Yeah.
Right. And so, I had no idea really how many shows I'd been to. So I just made it up, and I was like, I've been to 41. This is my 41st show. Like, yeah, number 41 is one of my favorite songs. Like, I'm just going to say this is number 41. And so I made it up. I totally lied to everybody all day. I was like, oh, it's number 41. It's number 41. And then we're standing there, and the show is like about to start. Like, they're on stage, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it came over me, and I was like, they're going to start with number 41. Like, it's going to happen. Like, this is what's going to happen. And they did. And
They
it was
did.
like, they did.
They
And
did.
can I tell you that, like, we were all crying, like everyone was crying. And I was like, I knew it was going to happen. Like, and goosebumps everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, they did it. And like, it was just such a crazy feeling. And then later that year, I got into DMB Hub, and I started tracking all my shows. And I went back and I logged everything in.
Yeah.
And I shit you not, it was my 41st show.
You've got to be joking me.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
What?
Yeah. And I had no idea at the time. I had no idea because I never counted them at the time.
Oh my, this is the best story ever. Like you had no idea. You were just like, okay, it's my 41st show.
Yeah, look at that.
They open with number 41. And then yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insanity. That's
and so
insanity.
it actually ended up being my 41st show. And they played number 41 to open it after. So that, like, that show and that experience and that feeling and that joy and that just, joy, that was it. I just, after such a horrible, horrible year, was just, it was like addicting. I was like, feeling, this band, like these people, like,
yeah,
because this needs to be like,
you could feel it, right? Right.
Oh yeah.
You could feel it.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Just that energy, but like on a different level.
Yes. And so since that show, which was in 2021, I've been to 15 more shows.
Dang.
So I've been to I just finished 56 shows.
Wow. 56 shows.
Yes. Well, my best friends and I decided, like, life is too short. Like, fuck
True.
this. Like,
True.
We can get, like, every year we're going to go somewhere. We're going to hit an awesome venue. We're going to do 2 nights, 3 nights. Like, we're going to go enjoy, like, you only live once. We don't know how much longer this band has.
True.
Like,
yes. Say it louder.
Enjoy every moment together. And, like, so we've been doing that. And, that's when we really started to learn about, through Couch Tour, like, all the cool venues. And, like, I had been to SPAC, like, I don't know, 10 times.
Yeah.
I never realized
what it was.
I just never realized, like, that I was in the middle of such a cool thing that everybody, like, oh my God.
That's how cool you are. You're just there before you knew.
it was the closest venue to my college. So that's where we always went. That was our home venue, essentially. And so I was always amazing. There. I had no idea that it was, like, the place to be.
Right.
But yeah, so we, figured that out. But since then we went to Alpine, which was an
Yeah, isn't that magical?
amazing
I
show.
love
That
that.
was
That's in
magical.
Wisconsin. If you're listening and you don't
Yes,
know, Wisconsin, and a ski resort, but in the summer, it's fantastic.
beautiful. It was
It's so
beautiful.
fantastic.
Yes, so we did that, and then we did the gorge
What'd
last
you think
year.
about it? What'd you? Oh, I was there. I was there with you, but not with you. But yes, with
Um,
you. What'd you think about it? It was my first time too.
that was that was number one.
You like it?
So, oh my gosh. So I just have to tell you that one moment, bucket list moment that was just unbelievable. So I went to the gorge with my two best friends, Sarah and Macri, or Shannon Macri Lessingang, and we met my cousin Rachel there, who lives on the West Coast. I never really see her.
Yeah,
5 years go by before we see each other.
yeah.
She had always wanted to go to the gorge. She had never been to a Dave show before.
Oh
And I was like,
wow.
listen, we're going to do the gorge. Do you want to come do it with us? And so she came, which was amazing. She drove up. She had a car full of food and camping supplies and all the things that we would need. And it was amazing. She brought in, because we were all flying across the country.
Right,
So
right.
she came fully hooked up. We did the gorge bus with Timothy Mason.
Yes,
So that was an awesome experience
I've
because we
heard it's
had
so much fun.
very it was so stress free. It was really very
Yeah.
nice. They picked us up from the airport, they drove us out there, they had a hotel for us, they drove us back and forth from the show every night, they had food,
Wow.
they had games, they had swag and t-shirts and all the things. So it was a really fun way to do it.
Yeah.
But that first night, standing there, I mean, forget just walking up and seeing,
Right. Just the
just the
venue
view was
itself
just
is
unbelievable. But I'm
yes.
standing there in the crowd. I had actually was hanging out with Travis Hyde. I know
Yes, he was
you've
been on the
gotten.
show.
Yes, yes, I was
Yeah.
there. They were also on the bus, and so we met up with them and their pineapple slut muffin crew and the whole thing. So
Yes. Shout
we
out.
were, yeah, shout out. So we were hanging out with them on the lawn, a big group of us, and Rob comes over, and
Uh,
he's standing there, and he's getting ready for the show, and it starts with ABI, and I'm
I
sitting there.
remember.
Rob's there, and all my friends and my cousin, and I'm standing and the sun is setting and ABI is playing, and I was just like, I can't believe this is happening, and the tears just started streaming down my face like uncontrollably. And Rob looks over and he's like, and he came over, he gave me a
Oh.
huge hug, and he handed me a pic, and he was like, you're gonna have a great
Oh.
night. And I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
so
I can't
great.
believe this is happening.
I
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
what
It
a
was
first
amazing.
song, first time to the gorge. I mean,
I mean,
everything just happened right then. I mean, it was that year 2023 was really really good. I mean, I know that they say the gorge every year is really good, and I believe that, I do, but it was my first time, it was your first time, and I think anyone can remember back to their first time and agree that like there was something special about your first time because there was so many unknowns, and like cresting the hill for the first time and seeing the actual gorge and just the
oh
beauty
my
of
god, the
it,
moment.
because I know that it's different than any other venue that you may go to see anyone in the whole world. And the Gorge does, obviously play other bands besides the Dave Matthews Band. But when the Dave Matthews Band goes, it's literally called Labor Dave Weekend because they always go historically like at that same time frame every year, and it's just a different vibe at the Gorge when the Dave Matthews Band is there. They love it. The band loves being there. The fans love being there, and so it's a cool time to be in Washington, right? It's a cool time to be
I
in
have to
Washington.
say also personally, and maybe I'm just biased, but I think we got the best gorge set list
I mean,
ever.
it was really
Ever. I
good
mean, night
and
2 was
unique,
like such a
right?
special experience.
Right. Because was
Oh
that
my
the day
god.
that
I
Jimmy
mean,
Buffett died? Did Jimmy Buffett
I
die the
always said
second
I
day of the
want,
gorge?
yes,
I think so. And then he
yes,
sang a Jimmy Buffett
yes. And
song in
I
tribute
already
to
said
that.
to my husband and to my friends, yep, Hmm. I
Wow.
said to my
Wow.
husband and to my friends, I said, that's the show that I want played at my funeral.
Oh, wow. I mean, it was really good. I mean, again, I have nothing to compare it to, but
Yeah.
that was a really special year. He did actually start to cover Just Breathe by Pearl Jam. I think it was also the second
Yep.
night of the Gorge in 2023. And so he's continued to kind of do
Yeah.
that
First time he ever
even
did
through
it.
now. That was the first time we were there, girl. See, we were there. We were we
Yes.
were
We
there.
were there for it. We were there for it. And a special
Yes.
moment for me, that first night actually was, um, my cousin and my friends and I said I was going to get everybody a Dole Whip. We walked down
Oh
to go
yeah.
get some ice cream and they said,
Uh-huh.
oh, let's get Dole Whip. And we're standing on the Dole Whip line and Typical Situation started. And I
Mm,
hadn't heard Typical Situation live in 20 years.
wow.
And I looked at everyone and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm out. And I ditched
Hmm.
them on the line and I ran. I ran. Like I'm still recovered. I have to wear a knee brace from that
Oh
run a year and a half
no.
ago.
She ran to
Because
typical
I was like,
situation.
I did. I was like, I can't miss it. I gotta go. I'm sorry. There's
I would
no
I would love to see the drone
time.
footage of you running from the Dole Whip line to your space on
and
the
then
lawn.
and then you would think I would have just stopped at the top of the hill and like listened to it from there, but for some
Sure.
reason I felt like I had to run back to my like spot on the
Well,
lawn, and
yeah, to
so
be
I'm
with your
like
crew.
running. But right, so I'm like running down the hill, and like there was like some girl walking down like to the beat of Typical Situation, and I was like, gotta go, and like flying back.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh my god.
It was an emergency. It wasn't a Dave emergency.
Yes, it was an emergency. And so for a year now, the memes that have been going around in our text group about that, like you see the guy that's like, gotta go, and he jumps out the window. Like that's like me
That's
when
you.
Typical Situation came on.
That's great. And I mean, I love that song so much because, like I said earlier, that's the song that hooked me. So, but now every time I hear Typical Situation, I'm going to think of you running, just like Forrest
Yeah.
Gump, like.
That was it. That was it. That was it. I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm out. Oh my
That's the
God.
greatest. That's the greatest story. Oh my
And then
God.
so I actually was like sad because I felt like I missed the very beginning of it, which I know isn't that big, but to me it's like all part of it. Like
It is.
that
It's
that
the build
first
up
I
again.
get I get like that first symbol, I get
Mm,
goosebumps like all over my body, and like
yeah.
I missed it, like I
Yeah.
missed it when I was like booking it back there, and so I've been like, oh, I need to hear it again. And then I went to SPAC and he played it at SPAC this year.
Mm. You were not in the
And
Dole
so
Whip
I
there. You were all
redemption.
in.
Redemption, yes.
Yes.
Redemption, yes.
I love how that song, I think that's why it caught my ears. And forgive me if I already said this, but like it's just that not only the words of Typical Situation, because that is just a masterpiece on its own, but then the music that accompanies it, the way they just kind of slide you in very slowly and speed you up and then bring you back down again and then speed you back up. I mean, just like that is what caught my ears when I first heard it, for the first time that my brain
Mm-hmm.
actually went, oh, what is that? Just because of the way it was put together. And
It
I
felt
think
like
the
that about
first,
two step too.
oh yeah, oh, well, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
musical,
Mm-hmm.
musical geniuses that deserve to be
Yes.
in the Rock and Roll
Yes.
Hall of Fame, right?
Yes.
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 Finally. But also, like, I mean, what is it? We're going into it's always like confusing. What year is it now? It's 2024. So we've done 33 years of music. We're going into our 34th. I say we like we're a family.
Wow.
We are going into our, like I'm part of this, but we
We
are part of
are.
this,
We
right?
are.
We
We
are
are.
part of this because a band can't be successful without fans, right? You have to have people
Absolutely.
that love your music and that continue to follow you, and so let's talk about that. Like, I know that you met the Dave Matthews Band from someone that loved the Dave Matthews Band, and then you were able to identify some people, and it sounds like your best friend has come from the Dave Matthews Band, or did she just happen to also like the Dave Matthews Band?
No, her and I have been best friends since we're 11 years old,
Oh
actually.
wow.
And so, Yeah, and so she is a year older than me, and she went away to college first.
Okay.
And I went to go visit her. Columbus Day weekend was my birthday weekend for when I was in my senior year of high school. I went to go visit her, and she was having a great time already. She brought me to like three frat parties. I said, this place is amazing. And
Yeah.
I graduated high school early and met her there January.
Dang. Wow.
Yeah, because I had been, I grew up in Staten Island, and I was with running with a not so good crew at the time,
Yeah.
doing not such good things. Um, but I was always pretty smart, and so
Hmm.
most of my friends had to go to summer school just to get to the next grade. And so
Right.
I went to summer school with them to get ahead because I was like,
Yeah.
well, my friends are all going, summer school's
Yeah.
easier. Like, I'm
High
just going to go to
school's
summer
for,
school.
yeah,
So
you're over it.
I was over it. I already had enough credits to graduate. I was friends with older kids. They were already in
Right.
college. And I was like,
Right.
hey, you know what? I think I'm out. And everybody kind of supported that. And so I went to college with her. And so she was part of the whole like, yeah, Dave Matthews Band, haven't you heard? And I was like, what are you
Ah,
talking about, man?
okay.
Like, where did
So,
that come
like,
from?
you were late
So
to
her
the
and I actually went
party.
to our Yes,
Everybody
yes. So
knew.
her and I actually went to our first show together.
No way.
Both of us went
Okay.
together to that first show. That was both of our first shows, and so it's
Ah,
kind of grown
awesome.
together. But I think I took it a little bit further than she did because um, she got married earlier. She was from college. Her college boyfriend, and her got married, and so
Okay.
they
Yeah.
kind of moved down to North Carolina and were doing like grown up things,
Sure.
while
Yeah.
I was running around traveling to go see Dave all over the country.
Right.
So I have like twice as many shows as her, even though we kind of started at the same time. But
Right.
since COVID, I've been like, no, no, you're gonna
Let's
come party
go.
with me. And she's like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I'm in. And
Yeah.
so
I
she's
mean,
catching up. She's gonna catch
I
up.
think people have to, I think you said it best earlier when you said, I don't know how much time I have left with this band. So
Hmm.
it seize the day, people. Like, go if you can, go, because we are closer to the end than we are to the beginning of when this started. So
I can't even think
we
about it. It's so hard.
no, I mean, that's why I want people to think about it though, is because it is hard to step away from work. It is hard to step away from family. It is hard to step away when you're adults and you got adult things going on, which for the most part, I'd like to think either I'd say the biggest part of Dave Matthews Band community fans is still working, right? Still very busy with like life. So it's hard to step away, but I encourage you to like invest in yourself and take some of that sweet PTO time or travel on the weekends just a little bit to see this band a few more
Yeah.
times before they're done, because like I said, we're closer to the end than we are to the beginning. And so, we how much
Yeah.
time do we have left, guys? Go, go, go. Don't have any regrets when it comes to this, because you want to make sure you can fit this band in. Because I don't know. I mean, will there ever be another band like them? I mean, I don't think we'll see it in our lifetime. I don't think we'll see it in our lifetime. I I don't know the future,
Not
but
for me, not in my opinion. I mean,
yeah,
maybe other
yeah,
people would disagree, but me
right,
personally, like, no way. This band has my heart. This band has my soul.
right,
Um,
exactly. And I mean, it's had so much time with you.
yes, I've irresponsibly gone to shows while trying to open this business when, like, financially, I have no business really spending any
There's a
money
whole
going to
club. There's a
see
whole sub club of those
any of these
people.
shows. Right. But it's just, it's really for my own mental health. Like
Yes.
but couch tour has been a lifesaver because, um, you know, being able to watch those shows night after night
Hmm.
and having, I've tried to give him back. I've streamed from home Dell every time. Um,
Awesome.
and, I just love being connected to all of those people and being able to bring the show to them. And, I've made friends through it and just,
Yeah.
having people that understand and get it, people that just get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That couch tour experience has really just made my love for this band and the community around it grow
Hmm.
so much
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
So do you think like when we were all kind of isolated in our house, during COVID, I think people, because we were so, I guess, just hungry for a connection, because a lot of most of our
Hmm.
connections were taken away really without a lot of warning, and so we really all kind of fled to the internet, and there were new things that were created because of COVID, things like well, now I've forgotten it, where everybody has the phone calls, what do you, a Zoom, I lost my brain, Zoom phone calls,
Yes, the
and
Zooms.
things where we could interact together, and so there was so much technology that was available that started coming out in COVID, but we were all, a lot of us were online talking to our community because we couldn't see our friends, we couldn't necessarily connect to live music, even though, thanks, shout out to Dave and to all of the members that participated in doing some live streams from their home. I mean, how nice of them to
Hmm.
do that. But do you find that like during that COVID time is when you really kind of did get deeper into the community of fans?
Yes. It
Yeah.
changed everything. Like I went from like, it's funny because my friends and I made up like levels. There's levels of Dave fans, and
Yeah,
like,
there is.
there's level ones and there's level tens, and
And none is
they're we
better.
made it. We started the levels actually. Yeah, they're all good. They're
They're
all
all
good, but
great.
there are
They're all
definitely
great.
levels. And
Yeah.
right, right, and we started that at that Raleigh show, at that number 41 show, because we were talking to people that are like, I've been to this many shows, and I've been to this, and
Hmm.
like we realized like we weren't really there yet. Like maybe we were like level 2, level 3, but like no, things have definitely changed since Couch Tour and the
Yeah.
online community.
Hmm.
Um, just watching those shows night after night, and then traveling, learning like, oh, we have to go to Alpine, and we have to go to the Gorge, and
Hmm.
like we've got to be at all these venues, and like, doing all these things. It's like, okay, now we've definitely leveled up, and we leveled up, and we keep leveling
Yeah.
up, so now feel like I'm sitting comfortable at like a level 7 right now.
It's so
And
funny.
that's
Like I don't even know. I would always say I'm a level one. I know good and well I'm not a level one, but I feel like there's just so much that I don't know. But that excites me. Before we were recording, I was talking about. I was chatting with Rob from the DMB Almanac, which is the website you can go to and track your stats. I mean, and it's all ran by fans. It's super super amazing. So definitely check it out. But he was saying that they did trivia throughout COVID and that they've continued to kind of do that, just like have a Discord group of DMB trivia. And I was like, dude, I want to be all up in that. And I promise not to even say a word because I just want to go to Dave school. Like, I want to learn. I want to see what this band's
yeah,
about. Like, how did they get where they are? What are they doing? Like, I want to know all their influences, I want to know everything. But, I think that brings us to a good place where I can ask you if you want to
yeah,
do some Dave Matthews Band trivia. You in?
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
in.
I love
Sure.
trivia because it gives us that opportunity to learn more about this band. And so,
Yeah, let's do it.
some people like, I don't want to do trivia because I'm afraid I won't know the answer. And I'm like, don't be discouraged. You're about to learn something. Get
Yeah,
ready.
let's
Get
do it.
ready. So we're going to do this in a special way so that those of you that are listening to this, or if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I want you to play along. I want you to have a little bit of time to think about it, just like Jaimee is. So, Jaimee, I'm going to read a question to you. Don't answer right away if you know. We're going to give just a little bit of time so that the listeners can play along with us. And then I'll ask you if you know. And if you do, great. And if you don't, well, you still get points because we learned something together about the Dave
Do I win a
Matthews Band.
prize?
You win points, but they are worth absolutely nothing.
Bragging
Hey,
rights.
I need some sponsors, yo. We can just like pass out prizes. I'm just a girl in my living room doing a podcast. I don't even know.
When I
Okay.
get when I get some swag for the business, I'll send you
Hell
something. I
yeah.
got
You
it.
know what? That's right. I'm gonna advertise for you. That's right. Okay,
Yes.
so let's start out here. I think you've got this one. Who plays the banjo in the album version of Don't Drink the Water? I'm going to read that one more
Plays
time
the
for those of you. The banjo. Let's think back. Like, Don't Drink the Water. If you think about the album version, there's a banjo in there. So who's playing that banjo? Any thoughts on that at all? I feel like I need the
banjo.
Jeopardy music, or ding
Yeah, I
ding
don't know. I mean,
ding ding ding
I would guess
ding
Carter, but I
ding
feel like that's wrong.
It's a
No, I don't know.
guest. Okay, so let's
Yeah, I don't
think
know.
about guest stars that have ever played with the Dave Matthews Band. There's not a lot of people that come out playing a banjo. I'll give you another hint. This person has played in a band with Jeff Coffin.
Oh, you're killing me. I don't know.
Oh, it's Bella Fleck. Bella
Oh,
Fleck.
Bella Fleck and the Flecktones.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
him. I saw them with Bella Fleck.
Yeah, so
I
see, you
saw
knew
them
it.
with
You
Bella
knew
Fleck.
it. We're just going.
Okay.
Yeah, you totally knew it. So you get a point, right? You get a
See?
point. Yeah, no, you get a
Yeah.
point.
No, I saw
Okay.
that. I feel like I've seen that a couple times. Really?
Okay.
Okay. You have to understand that I'm really, really high most of
That's
the
all right.
time.
That's all right. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you're totally getting it though. You're totally
I'm
getting
not
it.
so good
Okay.
with the guests. I really am not so good with the
That
guests.
was just like the
I'll
first one on
try.
the sheet. Let's see. Ooh, hey,
It's
hey.
okay.
I've got a great question for you. And I like this because this is part of your story. So here we go. In 1996, Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds teamed up to record Live at Luther College. This was released as a 2 CD live set. Where is Luther College?
Now you're asking me geography questions?
Like this tripped me
I've gone
up.
back
Now,
down to a level. I'm back down to a level 3.
This is crazy. Like, I only know the answers because they're in front of me and because I've asked them before, but no, but I dig this because, like, obviously to get all these questions, I had to do some research and stuff. And I was like, dude, I don't have a clue where Luther College is. I'm very familiar with Live at Luther College. Like, that's one of the staples of, like, if you want to give somebody some homework that just found the Dave Matthews Band, you're like, listen to this one, right? Like, this is what you're going to give them. And so
is it California? Is it Pennsylvania? Where is it?
I agree. I thought East Coast because that's kind of where, the Dave Matthews Band like came from, was Virginia area, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking East Coast for sure. It ain't California either. It's Iowa. I would have Iowa. What? I would have never guessed Iowa in a million years.
No, I didn't know.
In a million years. I would have never guessed that. But hey, now you know the CD that you first listened to ever of the Dave Matthews Band, that was in Iowa. The more you know, right? Like the rainbow, the more you know.
Yes.
And it is.
Yes, but wait, going back to Bella Fleck and the Flecktones.
Yeah.
Was that did they open for them in Ottawa, Canada on 420? Do you know?
Maybe.
Because
is this trivia for me?
This is trivia for you, because I was at that show and I feel like we met Bella Fleck. I have pictures with him the next day. Like I feel like he stayed at our hotel in Ottawa, Canada, and they did like a 40-minute version of Number 41. It was
I don't know this. It's homework.
I'll have to check.
You've given me homework.
But I feel like
I appreciate it.
but I feel like that was a thing. And I feel like I have pictures of meeting him.
See, I got your wheels spinning. You're like, I actually know him. I've got a picture with it.
I feel like I met him on April 21st in Ottawa, Canada, in 2002. Check it out.
This is the greatest thing. I love this so much. It's just like
I still couldn't tell you that he plays the banjo though. Like
well, now you know.
Went over my head. All right.
Now you know. Hey, let's do some song lyrics because we talked about that. Just it's a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, you got this. I'm gonna go. I'll go easy for you. Let's see.
Yeah. So far, I'm batting 0.
You're back to level 3. What'd you say? You back to level 5? Where are you? Where are you now?
Level 3. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. So I'm gonna read some song lyrics. If you know the song right away, don't say it. We're gonna give those listeners an opportunity to play along. So here we go. Okay. Here's just some straight Dave Matthews Band lyrics.
Okay.
I dream myself 1,000 times around the world, but I can't get out of this place. I'm going to say it one more time. I wish I could sing it because it would make it easier, but
I can't.
No.
Yes, I feel like I could hear it. But
I dream myself 1,000 times around the world, but I can't get out of this place. Oof, just those lyrics.
I feel like I hear it.
But I can't get out of this place. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be good at this.
Dun, 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 and she gave it come on. I'm not gonna sing it, but I'll have it's Gray Street.
No, you keep singing it. I like it. I like you singing it.
It's like, Gray Street.
All these windows.
Setting fire to this life, she would change everything. And I'm not gonna sing it about her. Using colors bold and bright. But all the colors mixed together to gray. That's Gray Street. And now I bet you can hear it. I dream myself 1,000 times around this world.
Yes,
but I can't get out of this place.
Without the music, I'm going to be terrible.
I know. It's okay. Me too. Oh, God. No. I promise you don't want that. Okay, let's do another one.
Okay.
And again, I want to sing it so bad, but I can't. Sitting, smoking, feeling high. And in this moment, it feels so... Yeah. Ooh. Hey, you know that video? You know the music video that they made of that one? It's black and white. They're in a bar. You know, there's some smoke. Like it's a jazz bar. Here's what I think, Dave Matthews Band, from just a girl that don't know nothing. I'd like to see you remake that at your current age. Hell yeah. That'd be so fucking hot. Because they're just like so chilling in a bar, like being sexy. Like that song itself is sexy. But when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's Baby Dave. I need Daddy Dave, right? Like I want 56-year-old Dave in there.
I'm a grown woman now. Yes.
Give me what we want. Hey, and Dave, I promise you, your wife wants that too. Your wife wants it. Make her that video. Yep. Make it. Do like a Taylor Swift like re-release and do Dave's version. Hell yeah. Come on.
I would totally be in for that. Yeah.
I'd be watching it all day, every day. I'd be in trouble at work because they'd be like, are you doing what you're supposed to be? I'm like, oh yeah, distracted again.
You know, it's funny. I saw him do You Might Die Trying live.
Uh-huh.
And I had there was like a moment. Like I had like a moment at the end of the song when he was like all, you know, in it and like
yes.
And I was like, oh my God, like I was like, that is like one of the sexiest things I have ever seen him do. Like it was just so intense.
It's so good. And here's what, and I'll even follow up to say, you're married, I'm married. Here's my observations of the way he was created. Okay, here's what we're going to talk about. Just an observation, but when this man puts a guitar in his hand, takes the guitar out, like holds it this way, and he does what he does with his body, and he sings the way he sings with his mouth, and like all of it comes together.
Yep.
It's a lot, and I love it. But also, I don't.
Yeah.
That's just my observation. That is my observation. How do you feel about Dave Matthews?
A lot of our observations. He's my hall pass. He's a I like him because here's what I like most about him, and he's weird, and I can tell it, and I like it. So weird.
And I always have said, like, if I ever met him and like had a chance to just like be around him for like an hour or whatever, I just want to like chill and like smoke some weed and like talk about life and philosophy and the stars and like the grass and like shit. Like, I just want to chill with you. Like, I don't want to ask you about the Dave Matthews Band because I know you don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about me because I sure as fuck don't want to talk about that. Let's just talk. Let's just get like one with nature and talk about the clouds. I don't care, but let's chill together.
Yes.
Let's chill together, connect. Dave Matthews.
Connect. Yeah.
If I get to do it, girl, you're on my list. I'm calling you up. I say, I know a girl that's got some good weed. She's coming over.
Oh, yes.
I'm hooking you up.
So my mom's best friend works for ATO, and you know that's
No, what
the
is
record
ATO?
company that Dave Matthews owns.
Oh, well,
Yes,
shit.
it's his
Okay.
record
See,
company.
this
Yeah.
trivia again, trivia
So
again.
right. So um I was actually like hoping that at some point she would be able to get me in for some sort of meet and greet.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm like always like, hey,
Yeah,
how's it
mom.
going?
Come on,
Yeah, what's
mom.
up? You know, can you hook me up?
Yeah, mom. Come on.
It hasn't come through yet, but I'm like,
Keep
fingers
putting it out
crossed
there.
that
Just keep talking
I
about it.
because I just want to like give him a hug.
Yeah.
I just want to like say thank you
Yeah.
because there have been some dark holes in my life, and like that music is just medicine to me. And like I'm so
Mm-hmm.
grateful for Sirius and for Channel
Oh,
30 and for these
yes.
Friday night concert series and for all of these, you know, online streaming services that have just made it so possible for me to have more of it in my life and as much of it as I need. And
Yes.
um
Exactly.
yeah, it's just really been a big important part of my life that I couldn't imagine my life without it. And so
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
I
have a
think
lot of
that was
people
perfect.
immediately around you who get it? Like on your
No,
day-to-day life?
no,
No. I mean, I don't
no.
either. I mean, my husband is very supportive, clearly, or I wouldn't have a podcast, but other than that, like I don't have immediate friends who are into him at all. And that's unfortunate, right? Because wouldn't it be nice if like everybody was a Dave fan and you just got to live that
Yes,
life
it would
every
make life so
day?
much easier. Yes, yes, it would.
Come
It
on,
would.
people, listen to Dave Matthews Band. But I mean, look how many years you've got, and look, I mean, you've had some amazing stories. I laugh because you weren't for sure if you were gonna have a story that was like, you were kind of like, I don't know if I have a story, and I just laugh because your story has been so good, and I can't say
Oh,
thank
thank
you
you.
enough for being willing to just spend some time with me on a Saturday talking about Dave and just sharing that with so many people because people will be able to identify with your story. We got to talk about weed. Hey, look, all the things we've got to do so far in this hour, we've got to educate some people about weed, which we both love. We're both advocates for.
Yep,
We've got to talk about a band that's changed both of our lives that is still playing music,
yep.
and I mean, the best is yet to come, right? Like we still got some big things ahead, and
Yeah.
this band ain't done yet. And until they are, well, we're just gonna keep talking about them, right?
Yes, and planning to see them. Got to figure out
Yes,
where to go next summer.
that's
I don't.
right.
We haven't
That's right.
decided yet.
Hey, I have a feeling you might be
Yes.
seeing them this
Yes.
fall. Just a feeling.
I
We'll
hope
see what
so.
happens.
Fingers
We'll see what
crossed.
happens. Yeah, well,
Fingers
fingers
crossed.
crossed.
Yes. The rumors. MSG rumors.
I
Yes.
mean, I think it might be
Yes.
happening. All your dreams are coming true, girl. Yes, 2024 is going to be a great year. I'm ready. It's only August, so
I hope
yeah,
so.
we still got a long ways to go. But
Yes.
again, Jaimee, I can't thank you enough for being willing to be on this show. And guys, if you are listening to this for your
Thanks
very
for
first
having me.
time, yes. If this is your first time to ever listen, there's over 100 and I think we're in 130 episodes now. And so that's like over 100 people telling their story of how the Dave Matthews Band music has changed their lives. And so I invite you to come back and pick a story. If you listen to one that's not for you, that's cool. Pick another one because they are all completely different. And so that's the cool thing about this podcast is you're never going to hear the same thing twice. Well, you kind of are because you're going to be hearing about the music of the Dave Matthews Band, but it's every person's journey is a little bit different. So I invite you to come back, check out our YouTube channel. If you're listening to this, be sure to do all of those things that your 14, 15, 16, 25-year-old would tell you to do, like, that's the thumbs up, subscribe so you know when it's coming back because that gives me some love on that side. And then just be sure to subscribe on the podcast app as well so that you get reminded and those numbers count so I can make sure to keep doing this as long as possible. Be sure to check out plug it one more time, girl. Plug it one more time.
Check out Hamm and Chaz Cannabis Dispensary in Jersey City coming soon, hopefully November of this year. Woohoo!
Hell yeah, guys, give her some love. Give her some love. And
Yes.
guys, until the next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Thank you so much, Jaimee.